Welcome to another Pause and Prosper.
Okay.
I'm really excited because I have the lovely Rachel Macdougall from Soothe and Settle on with us today. The purpose of Pause and Prosper is for me to do an expert exchange for people that are absolutely rocking it in the industry. Now, I met Rachel at, where was it? What was that event?
Hats.
Pat's. And it
Hats.
was
Yeah.
Birmingham. It used to be Pat's Telford. Now, Pat's Birmingham last year. And her energy just really stood out to me. And she told me the story of her, what would I say, number one product from Soothe and Settle, the
Yeah.
Hushmuff, which I'll get her to tell you about in a moment. And I was just blown away by her story. Her mum is a legend too. So I wanted to bring her on to Pause and Prosper to showcase kind of the work that she's doing. And she's put me on hold for a few months because she's been so busy from all of her success. So I'm actually really excited to hear a little bit of an update, Rachel. Can you please give us an update on Soothe and Settle and how everything is going?
Yes. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. That's such a lovely way to come in. So yeah, I unfortunately did have to put you on pause because things basically after Pat's just exploded. I was semi-prepared, semi-not prepared, but you just go with it. Do you know what I mean? You ride that wave, and so things now, January and February, are now quieting down a bit, and I feel like I'm getting a bit of a normal life back. So this year, I'm definitely we're going back to Pat's, and I'm way more prepared. In the sense of we have more systems set up in place because before, yeah, it was literally just me and my mum, and there was hundreds and hundreds of orders coming in a day. It was all very exciting, and we were running on adrenaline really because you do crazy hours when that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, loved it.
So take us back to the start. What is Soothe and Settle, and what is the product that made all of the exhibitors and the people that want to buy and purchase it for their businesses? What is it, and why did they want it?
So Soothe and Settle was formed actually, so it started actually, I'll start with the product because that's how it started. My dog Errol, so I got him in 2019, and scared boy, nervous boy, but we done lots of training, lots of confidence building with him. And there was just one thing that he really struggled with that we couldn't work on, which was actually fireworks, which is really hard to in any way desensitize your dog to, which I'm sure we all know because you can't replicate the exact same thing. So we used to wrap a scarf around his head, which worked a little bit. And then I got on my sewing machine basically and thought that I could make something a bit better. And after a few months of trial and error, this is when I made what is now called the Hushmuff. And after I had such success with it, I then mentioned to a few friends, and they were like, come back to me and saying, like, Rachel, this is like an absolute game changer. Like, this is I can't believe the difference. So I think that's when I realised, well, maybe I have something here. And that's when I thought to myself, rather than just having a product, I thought it was important to then create a brand for the anxious and reactive dogs, rather than just having the kind of product itself. And that's when I came up with Soothe and Settle. So it was to try and cater to the spicy dogs, as we like to call it. And yeah, there's so many people out there with an anxious or reactive dog, and a lot of the time we feel alone. And it's important that everybody know nobody's alone. There's so many people out there with a dog and they struggle. But yeah, if we can make their life a little bit easier with our products, especially the Hush Muff, then that's the goal.
So I was really excited about the Hushmuff when you explained it to me, because there's a lot of science and research that went behind
Yeah,
the product. It's not just, I went from tying a scarf around his head to creating a bit of material on a sewing machine. Like,
yeah.
can you tell me the story that you told me at Pat's about even
Okay, yeah.
the the
audio engineering and things that went
yes.
into it. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I love that because yeah, sometimes I do simplify things a bit and I'm like, oh, it's just this, but there is way more that went into it. You're right. And that was actually, I'm fortunate enough, my other half, he's a sound engineer. And he we kind of got together while I was trying to make something, and I said to him, we'll try different materials. Can you find out what muffles the noise the best? And we tried a number of different things. Some things were too heavy, and especially when it's going to go around the head, you don't want something that's going to weigh the head down. Some things were too rigid, where it restricted the movement of Errol's head. And these things were all great at like blocking noise. And then more I thought about it, actually, we don't actually want to fully block noise because you would actually freak dogs out if you were to just eliminate their hearing altogether.
Mm.
So the idea of like the muffling of the worst of the noise was the best idea to go with. And yeah, so that's why it was months of work. It wasn't just a case of I went to my sewing machine one day. It was months of prototypes and research into all different things of what we could use that was going to be comfortable, lightweight, but also do the job of kind of muffling that noise. And then through that, it was actually after we launched that I spoke to a few people kept saying to me, like, my dog just instantly falls asleep with it on. So I had spoke to a couple of vets and behaviourists and things, and they came back with a conclusion basically that the Hushmuff, because it is a snug fit around the head, there's actually the vagus nerve in dogs, which a lot of people were saying it could be activating the vagus nerve, which is what they call the chill on and off button for dogs. And I think that's where the kind of game changing results really came in because people were using it in so many other situations other than fireworks. Yes, that's what I needed it for personally. But then after making it, it's used for so many instances and even assistance dogs. So they're not classed as anxious or reactive. But when they are at cinemas, theatres, events, their hearing does need to be protected. So yeah, it's crazy how many other people it's really helped. And groomers as well is a big kind of category
Mm.
that we fit into, of course, because of the hair dryers. And so yeah, it's the uses of it and the kind of, I think that because of the technology and the research that went into it, it's no wonder it has all these other uses that I hadn't originally thought of when launching it.
Yeah, and they're just the. I hope you don't mind, but I was super impressed when we spoke at Pat's about the growth of the business. You know, this is you. This is your baby. It's a small business, independently
Yeah,
owned, and the there was just some really great stats which I had written down, and classic me, I've now lost them. But let's get it from the horse's mouth again, if you can remember. Like how, when did you start, and then
yeah,
what have been the business numbers that you've seen
yeah.
you've got going?
Yeah, the kind of milestones that we've had.
Mm.
Yeah. So we launched at the end of August 2023. And that was kind of planned because I knew that coming up to the fireworks season. So by the first year, we all organic. We've never had any paid ads. So organically, in the first year, we had sold over 3,500 across 25 countries. And we were already stocked in 2 countries in Europe. And again, this was actually not me outreaching to people. I hadn't done any looking for people or anything like that. This was all, which was lovely. All these people coming to me and asking for the product, etc. So then by the second year, when we're only into our third year now, so by the time I had kind of just after patch roughly, we have sold now nearly 7,000, and we're on about, I think it's 32 countries across the world. In some of the countries that I've had orders from, I'm like, I didn't even know that was a country. Just and even a lot of places in Britain, that's another thing, we've sent to nearly every postcode in the UK other than there's two postcodes in the centre of London that are here are offices, one postcode in the Highlands of Scotland, and one postcode in Wales that we haven't covered. And other than that, we've shipped to every single postcode in the UK. I like to keep a wee map and colour in. At the start I did, and then just kind of snowballed. But yeah, there's been
I
some
love
really
it.
lovely milestones in there, all with organic growth. So this year is actually the first year that I'm possibly looking into doing some paid ads, because I just think if I was to do that, what is the potential if I've not done that so far?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, I mean, it just goes to show the impact of this product. Like it was very much needed. And although,
yeah,
being a qualified groomer myself, there were other things out there,
yeah,
they just weren't hitting the mark. And it was like the research that went behind it. And it was actually your mum that was explaining to me about the sound engineering work that went behind it. And I was just like, and they're beautiful as well.
yeah,
And they are tailored for size of dogs.
yeah,
What's been your
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
like success story that you've had back from clients?
Oh, I'll be honest, I don't think I could pinpoint one, because there's been many where I've been left in tears of people telling me things. And like you say, I think that's why the growth has been so successful, because and organically, because it's solving a real problem that people
Mm.
have, and it literally is doing a job, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think the the stories that I've had, probably a lot of the kind of ones that make me really emotional is dogs that have came off medication. So there's people that have, there was a greyhound that had been medicated for fireworks season. So he was basically drugged up from, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but obviously as dog owners, if we can avoid that, we
Mm.
do want to. Um, and for 5 years, the dog had to be drugged up basically for a period of 3 months at a time. Um, and the owners just hated seeing the dog kind of like that, lethargic. And they wrote me a email as well as a review and everything, but they personally wrote me an email just to say that literally you've changed our dog's life, you've changed our life, um, and the dog's no longer medicated, which is just, yeah, that's really, really lovely. We've also I had a woman that ordered, actually, she stays next to the French Alps, and her dog, she actually ordered because her dog gets necrosis on its ears. And so from the cold,
Mm.
it gets basically gets frostbitten on the ears. And she had ordered because she couldn't find anything that was thick enough and warm enough to basically, which I thought was, again, it was never intended for that use, but it's really lovely to know that. And she wrote me and she's like, my dog's ears are healing for the first time in years. That they're not getting, which is just lovely, because yeah, the thought of any dog being uncomfortable or stressed. We
Mm.
have many stories of people now being able to, like their dog sleeping through fireworks, or their dog being able to have a glass of wine while their dog rests, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen. Um, so yeah, there's so many, and like I'm proud of our reviews, and I do tell people to go and read our reviews, because a lot of our reviews are actually little stories of
Yeah.
people, and they'll describe how their dog was before and what the Hushmuff has done. And the word game changer is used a lot. So I now use that in my messaging to people, because it's been used by my own customers quite often. Um, and people, my mum laughs about, people call me a witch, because they're like, what, like wizardry or what witchcraft is this? I'm like, no, it's just some good research. And it's, yeah, it looks like a simple product. A lot of people are like, oh, is it a snood? And I'm like, it's not a snood. It's definitely not. It's just because there has been a lot more work and research that's went into it. So I think at the time it was all to just genuinely help my own dog, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And I think that's what made it what it is, because it wasn't made to make. My mum always says it wasn't made to make money. That's not
Yeah.
what the purpose of it in the first place was. Or it wasn't made to have. I wasn't creating a business from it. This has just all kind of happened. Um, and yeah, I've just went with it, of course.
It's amazing. I'm so grateful that you allowed us muggles into your secrets.
And that's the thing as well. I love to kind of share the story, and I'm always open to sharing what I've learned through the process. Because I've also had some really lovely people through my journey that have helped me and helped answer some questions that save you going down all this research. Like there's some things that, yeah, it would take you months to research if you didn't have just somebody to maybe ask about it or query about it or question about it. So yeah, it's I'm all for sharing that.
Absolutely. What would you say if someone's listening to this going, hang on, I've got an idea that I've used for my dog, and if I wanted to take this to market, as it were, or how can I serve and look after more dogs? What would you say are your top three tips for people that want to chase their own passion?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I think one of the best things that I can say is think about what problem you're solving. Um, even if it is a harness or a collar or a lead, really tune into what it is you're solving and what makes you different. So there's lots of the in the dog world, lots of things are very saturated at the moment.
Mm,
Treats, food, accessories, but I think really concentrating on what makes you different, and that includes services as well, of course, because there's groomers, for instance, now I see that cater specifically to anxious and reactive dogs, so they don't really take on your normal dogs. So that also comes to, I suppose, niching down, which I
mm,
think people, we hear that all the time, niche down. But I actually have a business coach, and when I told her about yourself, and she actually loved how you had niched down so much. And again, how that works well, because when you know who you're speaking to, I'm not like, yes, I have had customers who don't have anxious and reactive dogs, but that's not who I speak to. And that's
mm,
not who I try and cater to. And I think when you are able to get across really who you want to help or who you want to serve with your products or services, then it makes the process and things a lot more easier and flowing a lot better, because rather than what a lot of people think we want to speak to the masses and we want to cater to the masses, but it doesn't work like that. I think once you, to me, what you do as well is very specific. It's like you could cater to, you could be a coach for loads of, or mentor for lots of different people, but what you've decided to do is niche into the pet industry and the pet professionals, which I think is great. And it's like me, yeah, I could cater to all the dogs, but really we speak to the anxious and reactive dogs. So yeah, that's maybe like 2 points. But the other one that I had noted down was quite an important one, I think, for um, this is mainly product-based businesses, but is margins is a big thing.
mm.
And I have so many friends who have small businesses who can only grow to a certain extent because they don't have the margins to do wholesale, for instance. So basically, yeah, a lot of handmade things, as much as we love it, there's only sometimes a certain limit you can go to unless you've got your margins right in the first place. So I think, yeah, it's not something that we look at, and I think you need to look at it from the beginning, because to have your pricing right and to make sure that you've got your time and things in, you can't start off at a certain price, then decide, oh, I want to triple that because I've now worked out my pricing properly.
Exactly.
So I think making sure that you've got that in place um, before you kind of go out there and launch to people. But yeah, go for it. That's one thing. Just go for it. Like if 100% to anybody, and I'd be more than happy if anybody wanted to reach out to me on Instagram at Soothe and Settle UK. If they did want any tips or advice or anything, I'm always more than happy to give.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you very much. And it is huge. And I think when you're passionate about something, like that passion can pull you through, but looking at the logical business side of it is like
Yep.
what Canine Care Hub helps with, and why we highlight experts like yourself, because you've clearly done that work. You know, you worked with a coach, you knew this, and then you've been able to actually make a real success of it, which has ultimately enabled you to serve and look after more anxious dogs of the world. Apart from 3 postcodes,
That's
you
it.
should
And
post them up, and we'll see if we can get to buy, just so you can tick off your chart.
well, I did have actually somebody say to me, she went, actually, my office is in one of those postcodes, and I'm tempted to just order something to my office so you can colour it in. But yeah, I'm happy with the ones we've got because it's basically covered. So yeah, yeah, it's it's been a crazy journey, but I'm so grateful for it. And like you say, the whole aim of it all is just to try and help as many anxious dogs as we can across the world, in any way that we can.
Yeah, it's huge. It just makes such a big difference, because when your own dog is in upset and disarray, it's like it's not just the dog that's struggling, it's the owners that struggle so much. So it's like, that word game changer, it is a game changer, because if your dog is happy and relaxed and fulfilled, then you can relax. And it's,
Yep.
dogs do, they are family. They're not just this. I mean, we're all talking to the converted here. We're all pet professionals listening to this, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
the services that we provide don't just impact the dog themselves. It impacts the dog's family. And then how does that impact then the ripple effect of like that dog's community? Because
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it,
It definitely does. And even I actually found out a lot of people have the same issues what I had as well, was when my dog hears, say, a firework, for instance, see after that's then happened, he then won't go to the toilet when it goes dark. He's terrified of everything around as soon as it goes dark. So like it's this lasting effect that then has us all through winter
mm,
into the following year sometimes. And then we have a really big Chinese community where I live. So we also have to be well prepared for Chinese New Year. The fireworks can actually go on for about 3 weeks during that.
mm,
So, and then you have as well Diwali, which if you have a large Asian community around you as well, again, that can be a thing. So it's and car travel again is actually one of the second biggest juice for it, which can also be really heartbreaking, is when you want to take your dog out, but they hate the car and they
mm.
pant and they pace and they drill and even sick because they're so stressed. And what the Hushmuff help, it just seems to, again, it's magic. um,
Sent from
I think it has got a lot
Hogwarts.
to do. Yeah, that's it, exactly. I think it has got a lot to do with the vagus nerve and just helping the dog relax. And now people again are able to actually take their dog um, out and about, because it's only the car travel bit that the dog doesn't enjoy. And a
Mm.
lot of the time we have to have the car to get them from one place to another to then take them out for a lovely walk or a lovely hike. Um, so being able to help with even that, that's could be a weekly regular thing that is stress in your life. Do you know what I mean? And a stress in the dog's life. Um, it's really amazing to be able to help with that, even a little. It's I do say to people as well, there's a lot of dogs that it's not going to completely eliminate all symptoms. But I
Mm.
think as well, especially as pet professionals, we know that even a little bit of the difference, if there's less stressful body language, then a lot of us will take that as a win, as opposed to some people maybe dogs do with it on. But there is some dogs that are beyond a certain threshold that the Hushmuff it'll help, but it'll only help so much. So yeah, I think it's important to always keep that in mind, that it's as much it is great, but it's still being aware of your dog and their body language and how they're feeling around the situations.
Absolutely. How many years do you reckon we're off from banning noisy fireworks? How can we? Oh, is there any petitions? I think we could start to just have silent fireworks. There's
Yes,
some beautiful
well,
fireworks that can happen with low noise or no noise.
yeah. And it's actually funny you say that, because where I got Errol from is the SSPCA in Scotland. And they came to me and wanted to do a little story on me because of the success and blah, blah, blah. And they actually got back in contact with me to say that they're working. So this does unfortunately only apply to Scotland. Well, fortunately for me, unfortunately for you, only apply to Scotland at the moment. But they're working with Autism Scotland to try and get them banned. And they are actually in Parliament about it, if that makes sense. So it's went past the petition bit, and they're actually in discussion with Parliament. That was last year that I did speak to her about that. So I don't know if these things, I don't know how long these things take, but they were recently banned in Holland, which is great news for them. But if I'm honest, most of my Dutch customers, our Dutch customer base is massive. Most of them have said to me that they don't believe the ban will be policed, if that makes sense. So there still will be people, which I suppose is probably going to happen anywhere that fireworks get banned. But yeah, fingers crossed. And I actually, now that I've remembered that, I kind of want to maybe email the women from the SSPCA to see if there's any further progress for that, because it's heartbreaking, not just for the dogs, for all animals. The horses, I won't talk too much because there is maybe something possibly in the works with Soothe and Settle, but yeah.
Heard it first here,
We
guys.
yeah, you did. So yeah, there's so many animals that really suffer. And like you say, we can have beautiful firework displays without the noise. It's such a, and it's not just like dogs. Like I say, they're working with Autism Scotland because there's so many autistic and neurodivergent people who really struggle with that. So yeah, I think hopefully the next 5 years is the answer to your question.
That'd be
Hopefully.
great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I do say to people it's sometimes a bittersweet business to have, because as much as I'm helping something that's distressful and horrible for a lot of dogs. So yeah, but 5 years, I think hopefully we'll come to our senses, or not as the government.
Well, you're an absolute angel. Thank you for being the good witch that comes down to us muggles to serve and look after us.
Love that.
It's always lovely whenever I get to connect with you. Um, where can we see you and how can we connect with you if you've heard this today, we're like need a bit more Rachel in our life?
Yes, I love that. So yeah, I am very active on Instagram at Soothe and Settle UK. And if anybody is interested in either stalking the Hushmuff, or we also have a new affiliate program that a lot of we have groomers, trainers, etc. on board because they like to recommend the product and you get a little kickback. So if anybody is interested in that or wants any more information on it, then they can drop me an email at info@soothandsettle.com. And I would love to connect with anybody who listens to the podcast and listens to my story. Please do reach out. It'd be lovely to network and connect with anybody.
Yeah, and just thank you again. It's absolutely, it blew me away when I got to meet you, and then it's just been so great to hear the continued success of everything you're doing.
Oh, no, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for having me on. It was I think, like you say, we definitely clicked straight away at Pat's when we met. And yeah, we were on the same level as each other. And so I thought and your book, of course. I love your book. If anybody hasn't read Elizabeth's book, I'm doing a little kick for you because, yeah, It's a great book, really, really good book. And I'm glad I got it. And yeah, it's been so lovely chatting with you. And thank you so much for having me on. It's been a lovely experience.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, are you going to Pat's this year again?
I don't know. What date is it?
It is, I think it's the 23rd of September.
September.
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
I've got quite a lot of workshops booked in to help in if you're a pet professional that's just got qualified and want to get started with the business side and how do you get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few workshops that are
Oh, I
happening
love
around the
that.
UK. So yeah, dates
Yeah,
in the diary are very it's very good. It's good to have a visual calendar, isn't it? Is yours
it
up anywhere?
definitely
I
is.
sent you
Mine,
one.
it is in the workroom. It's up there, and I have all my things scored off because yeah, we've got Pat's, and I'm visiting the Inter Zoo in
Nice.
Nuremberg, Germany. I'm going there for a bit of networking and taking some samples, and then yeah, Crufts. I'm going there just for a visit and for a bit of networking. So yeah, that'll be nice.
Which days will you be down?
I'll be there Thursday afternoon and then Friday all day. So
Fantastic.
yeah, and then driving back up Friday night. Are you going to Crufts at all?
I am. I'll ping you a message and see you there.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, we'll definitely catch up at Crufts. That would be lovely. That'd be really good.
Absolutely. Oh, we'll
Yeah.
wrap up the podcast and carry on our catch ups off it for everyone. But this has been absolutely huge. Amazing to have you on. And thanks again for everything you do.